Welcome to Unfiltered Truth with Jack Bomar, where we go beyond the headlines, beyond the polished statements, and dive into the heart of what's real. Today's episode is all about courage, the kind of courage it takes to speak truth to power even when it's not popular. In a world where it's easier to go along to get along, my guest today has built a reputation for standing up, speaking out, and shaking things up. He's a leader who loves his community, challenges systems, and uses his voice to bring light to places of silence and shadows. A former Atlanta City Council member, a journalist, and the voice of truth on 1380 WAOK. Please help me welcome my brother and my friend, the incomparable Derek Bozeman. Welcome to Unfiltered Truth.
Bishop, thank you. Let me say this. For a gratuitous introduction like that, man, I was looking around my chair trying to find this guy. But, you know, for me, I'm just Jesse's and Maddie's baby's boy from the south side of the city, for whom so many people believed in me and gave me an opportunity to serve. And I truly, truly believe that service is the rent we pay for occupying space on God's earth. You know, we don't have but a finite set of days here. And so I want to use every day in the most powerful way I can to help God's people.
What an honor and a joy it is to sit with someone such as yourself who has helped to shape the city of Atlanta into what it is today through both media and leadership. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, look, the honor is mine, really. I've heard so much about Bishop Bomar, about this visionary. And the fact that I'm sitting in Hillside speaks volume to who you is, because I know the leader, the founder.
Speak her name,
and
please.
I know Dr. Barbara was a serious woman of tremendous faith. And I have gone back and saw the history, the pictures. You know, when you're chosen, when you're pulled out, when you're called out to do a work that precedes one who loom as large, not because of just what she said, but what she did and what she meant in this community. She had to have an incredible amount of faith in you. And so because of my love, admiration, and absolutely respect for her, we traveled the world together to Africa, Dr. Barbara and I. And so it's an honor to be at Hillside. Every time you walk in here, you get a sense of purpose, that this is a serious place.
God be praised. And it's an honor to, once again, to have you here, knowing that you walked with my spiritual mother, my predecessor, that you shared moments and traveled the world and heard her vision and got to hear her story and stood there as support. So thank you.
Very impactful. You know, when we started a really ministry, if you will, called Let Us Make Man, and we had our first conference 20 years ago, I could think of nobody else to call. I said, look, this is our first conference for men, but they need to hear from a sister first. And will you come? Oh, well, look, as Dr. Barbara only could, she walked the floor that day and she prophesied and told us
tall,
absolutely
in all of her regalia.
And you know, nobody dressed like Dr. Barbara. But anyway,
But listen, I learned conversation that we share quite a bit in common. That we're also fraternity brothers.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. And so again, I'm a proud alpha. And you know, our former general president Ozell Sutton would always talk about you could drop me anywhere in the world. You can drop me in the remotest part of Africa. You could drop me wherever, and I will find a brother. And so, You can, so when I came to Hillside, no doubt, I connected with my brother.
Well, it feels like divine timing that our paths are connecting in this way. So,
yeah, we've been trying to do this for probably a couple years at least.
Now.
And either schedules did not align, but, the Creator has His own way of saying it is time. And so when I heard about all the exciting things, I'm sure we'll get into those that Hillside is doing development-wise, human development-wise. Look, I've always known there was some special things happening here, but I was just blown away with all of the things and the vision that is unfolding, from everything sound bowl therapy to bringing young people in. It's a lot going on, and it's all good. And let me say, it's truly, truly needed. Yeah, it's truly needed.
So, everyone knows you as a leader in this community, a community leader and a leader of the community. And what was the moment that you knew or realized that community service was your calling?
Well, I met a man named Arthur Langford Jr., right? And I met him at West Hunter Street Baptist Church at a Teen Leadership Institute, a summit. And I saw this charismatic young brother. At that time, Arthur may have been in his 20s or whatever, late 20s, early 30s. But I saw him, and I wanted to know more about what he was talking about because I knew he was a former city councilman, didn't know what that meant. And so I asked him, at the end of the program, I saw him struggling to put all this stuff in the car. And I asked, can I help you just with your stuff, right? All these easels and things. And I met him. Arthur Langford, again, turned out to be one of those kinds of leaders who said, if you want to walk with me, just come walk with me.
Wow.
And I walked with with Reverend Senator Langford right into West Hunter, met Ralph David Abernathy, who's the senior pastor at West Hunter.
Really?
And you knew that, and I was always a study of history. I'm 17. But I heard Dr. King say, this is the best friend I have in the world. And the world marveled at Dr. King, and I'm 1 degree separated from a man who was with him daily. And I'm 17 years old. And Arthur's associate pastor. I walked with him when he went into the Georgia Senate. He took me into places that my pedigree and profile suggested I shouldn't be there. But God will open doors that no man can close, and He will close doors that no man can open. So I'm 19. When I go to Morris Brown, Arthur goes to Morris Brown, I go to Morris Brown because that was a mentor for me. And so I had a pattern. I saw that serving the people paid off, not financially per se, but that man could walk nowhere in this city, not be respected, and not be. I watch him walk with numbers dealers and street walkers, and they loved him. And I saw him walk into the state capitol, and they adored him there. Wow. And I said, there's a lot of Jesus in this man. Because he's not rejected in any of these places. But he was a serious theologian, but serious public servant. Yeah.
What a powerful...
So I learned from watching him.
What a powerful influence.
Tremendous.
And a powerful model.
Changed the trajectory of my life and the possibilities. Because I would later, he became and still holds the record of being the youngest city council. This brother was so bad.
Really?
He was elected at 23 years old to the Atlanta City Council. At the same time, Maynard Jackson came in. So that's who he was. And we found out that we came from the same community.
Really?
He lived in Joyland, and I live in Betmar, adjacent communities. Just like West End and Cascade would be. Wow. We live literally 5 minutes from each other.
How powerful.
Yeah.
So from city council to WAOK.
Right.
Your leadership has taken many forms. And what lessons did you learn in government that you carry over into media now?
Not just because we're in church, but go where God sends you.
Hey.
I was not looking to be in radio. People won't believe. Now I'm 21 years into my radio career.
Really?
21 years coming this April. I celebrated 20 this year in April.
Was this like your minor, your major? Did you?
Never was interested in radio at all, right? So I go, it happened serendipitously. And so I go, one of the hosts on WLK, longstanding host, was Lorraine Jock White, the wife of the late Reverend Dr. R.L. White. Reverend R.L. White was a officer in the National Baptist Convention.
Okay.
So they had to go to a convention.
Yeah.
And his wife, First Lady, went with him. So she would have to take a vacation. Usually it's like 2 weeks. And they would get scrambling to get people in because she was very, very good at what she did. And so they didn't want just anybody. So they were hearing about, the easiest person to talk politics, because we talk radio. Let's just find some politicians. Well, I didn't really want to go, but they kept calling, and I said, I'll go. I'm going for one day. And when I get there now, I don't know how this works. I don't know nothing about radio. I listen to radio. So I'm going to say whatever I want to say. Because I don't plan on coming back, right? I'm not planning on coming back. So if you ask me a serious question about anybody in government, anything going on, I'm going to tell you unabashedly the truth.
No filters.
No filter, right? And so No Filter got me into a 21-year radio career, because what happened when I left, people start calling and asking, when is he coming back? So whenever somebody was out, the station asked, would you come and fill in? Not knowing this is where God was going to plant me, and not realizing, it took me some years to realize I'm talking to hundreds of thousands of people, and I can influence that. And I can tell you, Bishop Jack, the most refreshing thing, man, for me, when I knew it was ministry, when people call up and say, my lights are off, right? And I could tell give me your Cash App, and tell my audience, Cash App them $5. And they call me back and say, I got enough money to pay my light bill for 3 months.
Yeah.
So it's ministry.
Wow. That's, so it sounds like destiny.
Yeah. Because I didn't, I wouldn't.
You didn't look for it.
I didn't. I tell the people now, it probably violated every HR policy. I do not have an application on file at that station. I never filled out paperwork. I never applied for the job, right? The job found me. And never filled out anything. I just showed up. And I just showed up in the beginning, and it's really a lesson. I didn't even show up expecting to get paid. Because I wasn't looking to be there. And but then I began to hear people saying, man, you inspired us today. That, you made me think about that. Or you ticked me off. And so, it's a very powerful medium.
21 years.
21 years.
That's extraordinary.
I walked out of City Hall one week, and they called me and said, can you report on Monday?
Really?
It was just that fast.
My God.
Yeah.
21 years. What challenges did you face early on in your career that shaped your approach to leadership?
Well, for me, it was, and I thank God for WAOK, I'll be honest with you, because I told them when I took the job full time, because that was a period I was just part-time, I'll fill in, and then I've always had my own business and other things and other interests. But I told them I can't do it.
Why?
I can't do it because you all want me to be like all these other radio personalities. These people trained to get here. I was trained in the streets of Atlanta as an organizer. The only thing I can bring to this is my ability to be an activist and organizer. And you all may want a radio personality. And to her credit, my boss at that time, Gene Ross, said, no. We knew who we hired. We hired you to do this. And so it worked well until I got arrested for protesting homeless people not being able to receive charity downtown, right? So I go and say, okay, we got legislation that now saying that even good-hearted people cannot support homeless people.
Wow.
By law. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm finna go down here and feed every homeless person that I see. Right? So after the first arrest, they're like, okay, just long you don't identify yourself with the radio station, we're not trying to stop you from that. So they have allowed me just to be who I am, and that's just Derek Bozeman, a community activist, and brought that to the radio.
So you have built a platform on being unapologetically real.
Yeah.
unfiltered truth telling. Why is truth telling so essential today, especially when there's so much misinformation that is so loud?
People have to be able, and one of the things I appreciate, I need to be able to trust that what you're doing as a leader in this community is not performative.
Mm.
You know, we talk about Black leaders, but I often talk about leading Blacks.
Hey,
there's a difference.
Say that. Come on, talk about that.
Black leader understands that there has been something that happened to us uniquely different than any other people on the face of the planet.
Mm.
And because of that, I'm going to extend to our people extra grace, and I'm going to defend them in ways, because you can't talk about our people, having mental health issues and not deal with the trauma that brought us here. Mm-hmm. We can't just condemn some of the things that happen without understanding there is a basis, there's a reason why, right? And so leading Blacks will go wherever they're led to, wherever there's the money or wherever there is a interest that supports their agenda. Yeah. Black leaders go where the people send them.
Hey.
And sometimes you have to speak truth to power, even if you speak it against yourself. Mm. And so that's the authenticity of leadership that I look for. I don't just want somebody who feels that, even in Atlanta, that if the Chamber of Commerce wanted, that's what all of us should want.
Yeah.
If big business wanted, then if billionaires wanted, then that's what we should do. No, what does grandmama need, right?
Yeah.
What does the people in the places that don't get heard, what are their needs? And I think that's what I've always seen myself as, a voice for the voiceless, because the powerful will always be able to have a voice. Hey. They will always have a lobbyist. They will always have some politician in their back pocket. They will always have access to the mayor. But what happens for Big Mama, whose water bill now tripled? Who is her advocate? And how do we make sure she don't just get treated as another number? Wow. I really see that as part of my responsibility.
What verse lit the fire for you to use your voice for truth and justice? Do you recall?
I do. It was a specific incident. I during my 10th grade year, transferred from the local school to the International Baccalaureate program at North Fulton High School in Buckhead, right? And so there was a bus stop right in front of my door. In fact, I still live in the neighborhood. I bought the house on the corner of where the bus stop was. So the bus stop still sits there. But that was an 80-year-old, Mother Johnson, who lived behind me. Mm-hmm. She could not walk well, but she had been the maid for this white family for over 40 years. Every day, starting about 6:30, she would make her way up Gibbon Road to get to the bus. Well, Marta said they were going to move the bus stop because wasn't enough people around in my little circle to about a quarter mile up the street. So you would have to walk. And she said, I saw her at the bus stop one day crying. And I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? She said they're going to cut the bus off and I won't have a way to get to work. Wow. This is before Uber and any of that. And I said, well, what can I do? I'm 17. This is the same time I meet Arthur Langford. I said, what can I do? How can I help? She said, I'm going to that office. She went to the model office. I went with her. And she sit on the floor. And she said, whoever's in charge, I won't talk to him. They said, he's not here. That black woman, 80 years old, found her way to the floor and sit there. And I'd asked my mom, could I go? Because I knew she couldn't walk well. And I wanted to help her get there, and then I was going on to school. And I sat on the floor with her. And 10 minutes later, the chairman and CEO of MARTA came out and met with her. And he sat on the floor too. Wow. White guy, out of respect to this black woman, sit on the floor with her. And he promised her that the 42 Village bus would not be cut off.
Wow.
And to this day, that bus still runs at 5:00 a.m. every day. Yeah.
Wow.
And that started me. Because I didn't know what, I said, my God, well, first of all, I missed school. Secondly, this woman is with all this dignity and this age is sitting here until her change come. So when we talk about wait till your change come, the power of one, to that bus. Now she gone on to glory a long time ago, and I'm 59 from 17. So that tells you how many years that's been. Goodness. But that's what started it. I saw change could be made with one person if they're willing to make the sacrifice.
Wow, how powerful!
Yeah,
Atlanta has seen so much change over the years.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what's the biggest opportunity for community empowerment today? What do you suggest?
We have this, and I'm learning to be more forward thinking, and it has been a challenge because we have this dichotomy in Atlanta, the old school Atlanta versus the new school Atlanta, right? Well, those of us who've been here all of my life, I've been in Atlanta all my life. I never lived in another city. We look at Atlanta very differently from those who just came here. In fact, one of the rubs with one of my listeners in particular, I always say on my show, I didn't come here, I'm from here. Y'all flew here, but I grew here. And so it's a dig and a rub a little bit, right? Y'all came here, I've been here.
Come on,
and all I'm saying is I've seen, even this area when it was almost like a wilderness.
Wow.
And it talks about the vision again of this visionary who created 30-something acres on Cascade.
Wow.
30 acres on Cascade. You can't buy that now. And so it's knowing what buttermilk bottom is and knowing that public housing was important, knowing the power was really in the people, knowing how Maynard didn't come on his own, that he came on the shoulders of Black people who moved to Atlanta and made it this so-called Black Mecca. Also understanding as we move forward, you cannot forget these legacy residents.
Yeah.
There are people like my mama who's been in this city for 70 years, right? And so when you think about that, how do we preserve that? How do we make sure Atlanta history don't disappear to glittering and gleaming glass buildings, right? And to stadiums and to all of these other things, to sport and play, to a demographic who ran from these cities, right? And now who wants to run back to these cities and artificially drive up the price of the housing so that Big Mama can't afford to live in the West End anymore because she's living next to $1 million home when she bought her home 60 years ago for $15,000, $20,000. How do we protect those individuals? And who is going to advocate for them? Because what we now have is those who see this gleaming new city, tech city, and all of these other things that are wonderful. But how do we make sure the heartbeat of Atlanta is not lost? And it's those residents who stayed through the tough times, and said, I'm not moving. You're not going to move me off of my street. I'm going to stay here. And I'm going to wait till my change comes.
Wait till my change comes.
Yeah.
That's a great insight there.
Yeah.
How do you see media, faith-based organizations, and local leadership intersecting for social change and social good?
Let me tell you this, and I'm challenging you and all the preachers.
Okay.
We're at a inflection point. I've never seen this quite like this, and it's part of what has happened at the national level. Mm-hmm. Our people are spiritually emaciated, and they're spiritually fatigued, but they're hungry for a word. But they don't want just any word. You got to tell them about the kind of enduring faith that we have already come over rougher than what we're seeing.
All right.
You got to give them a prescription for spiritual fortification. I need to know that I can fight the devil and win. And I ain't talking about no imaginary figurative devil.
Got it.
I need to know how I can win now. I've never had this many people call the radio show asking, what are we going to do? Wow. And so I know one dimension of that is to understand who we are spiritually, right? And so we got to call forth the modern day Joshuas.
Yes.
We got to call forth the Peters of the day.
Yes.
And say that we are going to survive this, not only by turning inward. We learned a lot of things about COVID. And I used to always say on my show that the church may be closed, but the kingdom is still open. And so get to your church and start taking them food boxes. Put on a mask and take them food boxes to the people. Loveth thou me, Peter, then do what? Feed my sheep.
That's it.
Literally. And so we saw churches who thought that they were going out of business, saw explosive growth because they started taking care of the people. You know, Arthur Langford would always say to me, Derek, if you just take care of the people will take care of you.
Hey,
and that is my story. And so I think now to speak in this void where we're trying to give you a face of Christendom that does not matches with who Christ is. Okay? So, you know, we have to take our little light and let it shine in dark places. And so be bold.
Yeah.
You know, preachers are threatened to be punished when you speak the unadulterated truth. And that is that if Christ be for us, you know, who can be against us and win? But we also got to understand who the adversary is and call them out, right? we have to be bold enough to not say, well, you know, this spurious theology that said, well, we got to love everybody. And that, you know, some of these people have not done right by our folks.
That's true.
That we have to make excuses for a man who, under the cloak of white nationalism, have been given to us as this savior, right? And some of us are accepting of that when he has made statements antithetical to our very existence. You know, that I cannot square. I mean, even Jesus flipped over tables in the temple. He was a holy man now, but he did flip over a few tables. I'm just looking for...
He didn't just flip them over, he whipped them.
Look, I'm looking for that kind of Jesus to show up because that's what we need at this day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And for those who are on the fence, feeling that, you know, that spiritual community, faith community should be a message of love and this Pollyanna-ish kind of approach to life. Within spiritual community calls us to address those things.
Absolutely.
That are not of God, not of truth, not of light. And if we don't call those things, even Jesus, he called out the demons.
Oh, absolutely.
He named the demons and then cast the demons out.
Yeah.
But if we're afraid to name it.
And it does a disservice. And that's why I'm saying ministry should have power.
Hey.
Right? When I show up here, I want to feel the presence of God.
Hey, hallelujah.
If I don't feel God, I've left here uninspired and unempowered. I see the church as a place where you come. It's like a service station. You know, my tank has run empty after dealing with the world all week. I come here for a fill up and a recharge. But if there's no power, it doesn't give me the courage to go out here and be who I know I need to be for God's people. And so I always say to people, if you want to see the men and women who did the most for our people, go behind them and look at their spirituality. Whether they were Muslims like Malcolm, or whether they were Christians like Martin, Medgar, Mandela, Harriet Tubman, there was always a spiritual imperative that was lifting them. And that's the only way you can do it. You can't do it outside the spirit.
No, you can't.
Period.
You can't.
Yeah.
So, you know, all of this is so exciting. If you could launch one initiative tomorrow to uplift the city, what would it be?
Affordable housing. Truly, truly affordable housing. Right? And again, I go back to the scripture. The fox have a hole, the bird has a nest, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head.
Yeah.
In a city as rich as this one.
Yeah.
But it pains me to drive down even streets like Cascade and see people have made homes in the woods and everywhere. That probably coupled with serious mental health, and that's why I love what you're doing here at Hillside, that y'all have a mental health ministry. We are walking, I look totally whole sitting here with this wonderful mud cloth on and nice boots and everything. But I talk about my own depression, right? a man who can go where he wants and travel the world over and everything else. But when COVID hit, I'm a social person. Although I often tell people I'm the most extroverted introvert you'll meet.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Imagine that.
Right. But I do get my moments of reflective, kind of space. I just need time to just sit for a week or two and think and write and all the things that you should do. But we have serious mental health issues. And it's dressed up and it's in a suit. It's in the pulpit.
Absolutely.
It's in government. It's all over. And people need help and don't know it. Some of them know they need help. But truly affordable housing, what do I mean affordable housing? Not just 80% of AMI. What that means, you need workforce housing where people are paying $400 or $500.
Yeah.
Housing is a human right. It is not an economic issue. It shouldn't be, right? And we see more women and children, men. And if you're a black man, it's almost non-existent. They just expect brothers, well, get out there and you just need to do better. Well, if I don't have a steady place to just be, nothing else can happen for me. My mental health is questionable, my nutrition, my overall health, because my first line of defense is, where am I going to lay my head tonight?
My head.
Yeah.
Many people see your public life, but what's something that you've learned privately that you wish that more people understood?
I'm a public-private person. I think that you reserve a lot of yourself for yourself. And for me, friendships, another good friend, pastor of mine, said relationship makes the difference. And I keep a very tight circle, in large part because I'm very demanding and I don't want to disappoint people.
Wow.
Right? But I've learned to take time to be selfish with yourself. In the last 2 years, I have taken my health absolutely seriously. I was 365 pounds.
What? Really?
Yeah, just a couple of years ago. I had weight loss surgery, exercise every day in the gym.
Wow.
I'm almost twice as what
My goodness.
And so that has been probably an awakening for me. And it came after I had to have major back surgery.
Okay.
And being very transparent, I had sepsis twice. And a lot of people don't, and this has changed my perspective a lot on life. A lot of people don't survive that.
Wow.
And I had it twice. And so now my focus is very different, is that I want to be here and I want to be in good health. And your health is your wealth. And so that's the new thing for me. Is to really try to encourage men to get prostate cancer checked. Lost a couple friends to that. Senator Ford, who tomorrow will be recognizing with the street renaming, another powerful soldier. So yeah, for me is to take the time and be selfish with yourself. Because what happens to givers will give out. And I have to also say, guess what? Takers have no limit. Okay. They'll take you, brother, they'll see you in that box and look at Bishop J. He looks just like he's sleeping. No, y'all don't worry me to death. Y'all kill me. So I'm not going to let people do that to me.
You got to give it to yourself.
You gotta
what do they say when you get on the plane? Put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking back, what advice would you give your younger self entering city leadership or media now? The you 21 years ago.
Me 21 years ago probably would be to understand to understand the assignment, right? Because I'm not, the people who see me, and going back to your previous question, would think I'm this very serious guy, right? I'm not that serious all the time, right? But people tell you, when you get to know me, I'm very jovial, I'm very joking. And sometimes, if I'm really not interested, I don't study it deep enough. I never took radio seriously. Not seriously from the standpoint, I will tell you the first thing we organized was a trip to Gina 6. That's when these young brothers were accused of this crime by some white kids that they didn't do, right? And so we organized like 5 or 6 buses. Trayvon Martin gets killed.
Okay.
10, 11 buses just organized off the radio station.
Wow.
I saw the power impact in elections. Black radio had a lot to do with the emergence of a Barack Obama because you talk instantly. This podcast is so critical because it's instant. You can talk to people. And guess what? If they miss it, they'll go back and say, hey, go check out Bishop Jack and check out. And so media is very, very powerful. We know it's powerful. That's why they spend hundreds of millions of dollars of bombarding you with messages. Yeah. If you don't think media is powerful, they don't spend $20 million for a 60-second commercial during the Super Bowl because they don't have money, right? Corporations spend that kind of money because they know with 60 seconds, they can make you run out and buy their product.
Wow.
And that's why it's so incredibly important what we do. But, my younger self probably to look at it very seriously. But also on the converse side of that, it probably wouldn't be so much fun for me. Right? I probably wouldn't be. I've never done anything for 20-some years. So it probably wouldn't be as much fun if I could just
Are you surprised
joke around.
yourself?
I am surprised. I never realized that it was that long until I recently started saying it. I remember my 10-year, and I remember that very well because I was doing it at a restaurant downtown, and my mama walks in. And my mama's been my biggest supporter. And when she walked in, I was so shocked and surprised because I'll be honest with you, I didn't think it was a big deal.
Wow.
I just didn't think it was a big deal because all I'm doing is having fun,
When you do what you love, it's not work. Right?
That's true. That is very true.
What keeps you grounded?
I think family and friends and knowing that people absolutely love who I am. And I love myself. Let me say that. Self-love is so critical, right? And I finally have gotten to the point, and I don't say this publicly, so if it goes out over your podcast, I didn't say it. I finally gotten to the point to realize that people love and respect me.
Wow.
In ways that I never understood before. And they come to depend on me. And that's a heavy weight. I think real leaders understand, and I'm not talking about venerating from the standpoint, because I never want people to swoon or whatever, but I'm in a media that you get to hear from me every day. And so you're going to have those fans who fan out. But when people just stop you in the store and say, man, I really appreciate how you help, how you did or whatever. And I don't do it for that because I have long since, I start telling people, Bishop Jack, don't give me any more awards. And a preacher told me, you should correct that. He said, the award is not for you. It's because they recognize the God in you.
Amen.
And so I stopped telling people that because I got a basement full of plaques and I've hanged none of them up and trophies and everything else. But I just believe that this is the work you call to do, and you don't have to be congratulated for it. It's an honor to serve our people.
Oh, shame.
Yeah.
What kind of legacy do you want to leave for the next generation?
I think to realize that God can use ordinary people to do extraordinary things. I mean, my family now is 5 generations in Atlanta.
Wow.
But my dad was he was a laborer, but he worked very hard. My mother worked at the Lakewood GM plant when it closed. I learned so much from her. She said, I'm not going to Dorville where they had another plant. I don't drive. I'm going back to school. And she took up nursing.
Really?
And became a private nurse. And so I learned so much resiliency for them. I think what I want to leave for them, just be bold, right? And find your voice.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do what Derek Bozeman do.
Yeah.
Everybody don't need to be on the front line. If you can fry the chicken to fuel the soldiers who go into the field,
all right,
bring whatever your best offering.
All right now.
To whatever it is that needs to be done for our people. You ain't got to be on the front line. I'm content with doing that. but find your way. You also don't get a chance to sit on the sideline.
Come on now.
No, if you're not going to be on the front line, don't sit on the sideline. Find some kind of way to get in and get in good trouble. Yeah.
That's a great word. So, we have so many overlapping passions for Atlanta, for community and empowerment. How can we amplify each other's work, from spiritual community to media, spiritual community, leadership? How can we amplify each other's work?
We have to work together. We have to, I tell people 90% of my meetings are in churches. Wow. Because I've always understood this sacred and liberated space. That I tell people the only thing black people really own is the black church.
Hey.
Okay, you can take it or leave it alone.
That's it.
Right? We own the black church. And that's why I have to always kind of put a bridle on my tongue. Even with preachers
this is
who are
unfiltered truth right here, all right? So
even with preachers I want to criticize, right? I want to criticize. Some of them just do such dumb things. But that's not the church universal.
Yeah.
And that is a remnant of people who want us to disown the black church. But I have to tell people it was a white church that created the black church. When they told Richard Allen,
all right now,
you cannot pray. I know we have the same God now, but you can't sit here and pray with us. You got to get up and go outside. This brother said, whoa. This is the praying hour. Right. I'm the only black man in here. I'm praying to the same God. And you telling me because of the melanin in my skin, I need to go out in the vestibule while the real preachers pray.
Wow.
That man walked right out of that church and created the African Methodist Episcopal Church.
Come on.
A Dr. Barber saw a vision and said, I need to create a new thought place.
Yeah.
Where we can focus on our inner being. That the real church sits on our mind and how we think. As a man and a woman think, and so if he is she.
Yeah.
I need to be able to get this word out. And so I need to come up on the hill.
Hey.
A city sit on a hill that couldn't be hidden. So I got to create a space. And so it's the most liberated space that we own. If we just use it. And if town and gown came together, church and community came together, there's nothing that could stop us, really, to be honest with you.
Well, listen, you've been so gracious with your time today.
No.
But before we close out, we have we do the lightning rod session or section, and this last segment is unfiltered, unapologetic. So I'm going to throw out a few questions.
Bishop trying to get me in trouble, but go ahead.
I'm going to throw out a few questions, and the first thing that comes to mind, no filter, no prep. You ready?
Yeah.
What's one word that describes your life's mission?
Purpose. Purpose.
Coffee, tea, or truth serum?
Truth serum. Because I don't drink coffee. Here's the thing. I do not drink coffee at all. Now, this time of year, I love tea. I love all kind of teas.
Listen,
but if I had to give it to you, it's going to be truth.
Serum. Well, I just returned from Italy. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I had espresso every day. All right. The biggest misconception about you?
Arrogant. Sometimes people can't take your confidence and they misconstrue it as arrogant.
Wow.
I love all people. I even understand that, love your enemies.
Hey.
But I love you after you repent. Can't love you in your after you repent. But while you
if
are
you want some love in here, you better repent.
Let me tell you, you better
ways.
repent. Otherwise, you're gonna get these words in these hands if it become necessary.
All right. The book or person that changed your life?
Arthur Langford, obviously, is very easy for me. The autobiography of Malcolm X was probably the next most powerful thing.
Finish this sentence. Unfiltered truth means?
The absolute truth. It means absolutely everything. Because, no lie can live forever. The reason I don't lie, because I can't, my memory is not very good, I forget. And so I'd rather just give you the truth and let you deal with it. And sometimes that's hard to do.
I see.
Yeah.
Before we close, I want to give you an opportunity to share any last words with our viewers, those who are tuned in, those who might need a word of encouragement today. Some young leader aspiring for media or city leadership, what word would you give them?
Well, look, my message is very simple. Be called by something greater than yourself. You know, a lot of preachers say, I was called to preach. And I'll be honest with you, Bishop, I tell them you shouldn't answer the phone for some of them. Some of you should have just let the phone go straight to voicemail. Because what our people need in a time like this is prophets.
Ashe.
We need those who will speak truth to power and not worry about who's going to be offended by it. The gospel should challenge us.
Yes.
And our work and our words should challenge us to be greater than who we ever imagined that we were. So for that young brother, don't do it for the gram.
All right.
Don't do it for the clicks. Do it because you know that God has called you for a time such as this. And if you're not ready for that, to make the sacrifice, to have lived and led in this city has been sacrificed, right? And at some point, I'll come back to talk about that because you're not worthy to lead our people. The final message is that the shepherd must always smell like the sheep.
Hey.
Right.
Good word.
All right.
Thank you.
No. It has been a pleasure. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been great.
We have to do it again.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in to Unfiltered Truth with Jack Bomar. Walk in truth. When you walk in truth, you walk in power. Stay tuned for more.